With a little Rissy Palmer.
With with a lot of Rissy Palmer. There's always a lot of Rissy Palmer in every song. And then, of course, before that, Whatever It Means, Everyone Dances, all the songs, all the people. That was one of Wes Collins' cheery songs.
Yes.
Everybody, we are thrilled to have our friend and long overdue here in the studio. We haven't seen you in a while, Robinson Earl of the River Otters. Robinson, welcome. Thank you for navigating through last Friday in Hillsborough.
You know, I parked over just about on the riverside of the Poets Walk, right there in the dirt. So
you
I
had
just
a
made
little
it.
bit of a walk.
Bit of a walk, yeah.
Well, it's we're just delighted to have you here. And
Thanks for having me, Kirk.
been here before, and as you might remember, I'd just like you to just jump in and play a song. So
Let's do it.
if you'd be so kind.
Let me know how the guitar's feeling sound. Go on and make a bet with me in it, 'cause I ain't getting up today. I don't need a priest to be forgiven, they just get in my way. Let me burrow deep into these sheets and drift away in dream and rise again in a faraway land where I'll learn my true name. I don't want the world since he quit it. All the stars have been erased. Even the moonlight seems to have a kink in it, now that he can't trace his face. So let me burrow deep into these sheets and drift away in dream and rise again in a faraway land where I'll learn my true name. And I don't want to keep my tears hidden, so don't try to brush them away. And I'm close enough to see your eyes glisten, must have done some crying today. So let me burrow deep into these sheets and drift away in dream and rise again in a faraway land where I learn my true name.
Oh, man. What a way to start a Pass the Hat live stream, live feed. Robinson Lee Earl, welcome to the studio again.
Great to be here. Always
Robinson,
comfy.
You wrote that song?
Yeah, yeah.
Nice. And how it's been interesting. We have songwriters every week coming in, and over the last 3 years, we always say, "Well, how's it been for you in these strange times writing music?" So, are you finding yourself writing a lot, or has it been a little more difficult?
Writing a lot.
Good
yeah,
for you.
Yeah, it's been good. Yeah, I had a baby about the start of COVID, so I was going to be home a lot anyway, and kind of
worked
just
out well.
buckled down and wrote a couple albums worth of material. Got one that'll come out at some point soon. And
Oh, good.
another one that's sort of being drafted. So.
And so where do people go out on social media and look for this release?
Well, you can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Apple Music, just the River Otters. You search for us there. As far as this release goes, I'm not quite sure where it will end up label-wise and whatnot, but you can certainly find it on our website whenever it comes about. ArcaneAmerica.com. I teach music, too, so that's my music school. And then the River Otters is a page within that. So.
The-river-otters.
Not just any River Otters, the River Otters.
You can also just go walking on a nice spring morning through Johnston Mill Preserve and likely hear a guitar playing wafting through the hills, and that's going to be...
I'm not too far from there.
That's going to be Robinson playing his guitar out in the woods.
That's a great place. I love Johnston Mill. And the whole Corstian division of Duke Forest, I'm all over that.
Oh, yeah. Let's not tell people about that because that's our
a secret.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll
Robinson,
show you my secret folder in my
want to
phone
get as
with
much
things I've
music
found.
in as we can, so what do you have for us next?
Let's do another one here. I'll do this one here. So this is a little bit of a murder ballad.
Ooh,
Started off with
we
a
like
sad
those.
one, but this one's sad in a different way. Yeah, actually, this one has kind of a happy ending. If depending on whose side you're on, and you should be on the side that ends happily. That said, it's a little tango too, so I'll turn on the little bit of a. We were talking about my guitar before we started. I got this guitar with a little bit of grit on it if I want. She's walking to the well, crying, but the wind it dries her tears before they leave her eyes. And he's watching from the window like a crow who spotted something weak and is hoping it will die so he can dine. 'Cause if you hunt one you can't face, you may become its prey. He's sitting at the table, drinking gin, tugging at his meat to check if it's alive. Then he stumbles in a bedroom, he gropes the sheets as she crouches in the corner with a flashing knife. She trains the light, 'cause if you hunt one you can't face, you may become its prey. She spreads him in the forest above the dirt as she weaves between the trees in a serpent's skirt. She feeds the earth, 'cause if you hunt one you can't face, you may become its prey.
may become its prey.
Yeah.
So Robinson, you started that song telling us a little bit about that guitar. Can you tell us a little bit more? Because I don't think we've had one like that in the studio.
No, we have not.
It's called an acoustasonic. So I've always been an acoustic player who has coveted some of the tones and timbres of the electric world. And this is one that gives me the feel of an acoustic. I can play my same strings, same tuning, all that, but is a little bit more versatile. And you can get kind of acoustic guitar profiles. You can get more of electric guitar profiles. You plug it through pedals. It's really fun.
Made by the fine folks of Fender.
Oh, yeah.
Good alliteration there, Kirk
Yeah, the
Ridge.
fine folks at Fender.
Oh, I should buy. That's copyrighted Fender, by the way. So if
Don't
you
run
want
foul
that.
of the fine
So
folks at
everybody, if you're just listening on the radio, we want you to know that we are now streaming video every
That's
week.
right. We're also a TV station sometimes.
Bob, how do people find that? Because we've got plenty of Robinson to go.
Yeah, we got a lot of Robinson to go, and you find us at Whoop Pass the Hat at WHUP Pass the Hat on your favorite streaming services, which are, by the way, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And Facebook and YouTube keep those videos forever, so you can watch Robinson live right now, and then later go up to the live tab of either of those services and find a couple of years worth of previous shows we've done.
In addition to that, all of our shows here on WHUP, the audio is recorded, not just our show, but all of the shows by our wonderful IT staff, WHUPFM.org. Click shows, scroll down to Pass the Hat. You'll see about 700 or more shows that you can listen to on demand anytime you want, because we've
High-def audio.
been here like 7 years, going on 8. Wow.
Seems like forever.
Seems like yesterday.
Still the most fun I have on Friday nights.
So Robinson, River Otters Band, going to be out there live anytime soon where people can go see you?
Yeah, tomorrow I'm going to be at Dirty Bull from 4 to 6. That's going to be a solo show. But come later this almost next month, the 29th, we're going to be at Arcana. And I'm going to be doing a duo show with David on the 8th. That's a super secret house show. So reach out to me if you want to come.
So tell us about David real quick.
He's a good guy, about yay high.
Well, if you want to know about David,
Yeah.
people, you're going to go have to see in
Nah,
person.
He's great. He's like my best friend, and he plays the drums and the antique pump organ in our group.
Whoa, you don't see that every day.
Yeah,
Sweet.
it's the kind of organ they used to use in the field during World War II for the chaplains to give sermons, I guess.
And so
I'm
he,
sure that made the soldiers feel just great.
Oh yeah.
so that's
what you
now I
need,
see
pump
why he's
organ.
not here tonight. He didn't haul that sucker up the steps,
It's
right?
about 80 pounds. Yeah, it unfolds and yeah, but it's a signature of our sound at this point. We all tune to it, so
Yeah, awesome.
yeah.
So I like the fact that Arcane Americana will be playing at
At Arcana.
At Arcana. yes.
Yeah.
Good
We had,
call.
we had a conference about it. Yeah.
I appreciate the way that worked out.
Yeah, it's such a great place. We love there. We play there almost like once a month.
It really is
so.
a fantastic space, and very cool people tend to
Yeah,
frequent
definitely.
it.
Yeah, Erin, the owner, she gave me a mushroom calendar for a New Year's gift. All pictures she took of local fungi.
Uh-huh.
So,
And when to go out and pick them.
yeah.
It's
Nice.
good to tell those things apart too.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Always go out with
Some of them are not friendly.
a professional mycologist, because you don't know what you're getting out there.
Your head might start feeling like a helium balloon.
That has happened before.
Kim, a mycologist. Every week we learn something from Bob Johnson.
Oh, mushroom experts, right? Yeah.
There you go.
Or I learned something from
Well,
Bob Johnson.
I learned something too. As you were discussing the pump organs, I was like, pump organs, World War II. And, and I found them.
You found them? Yeah.
This is an interesting image. Like, this is a real, or it's
You
an
thought
organ.
Robinson was lying to us?
Well, I imagine an accordion type of thing. This
Yeah.
is something I've not seen. It's like a baby organ
Yeah.
that they would haul out into the field and play. So that's an image I can't get out of my head.
Yeah,
now.
well, you mostly find the really ornate ones, the sort of Victorian-looking ones that were sort of like, as much decor as they were functional instruments. But
Yeah.
this was like a very practical, like, military-grade
field,
instrument.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's pretty fun.
The war could have gone either way until we rolled these things out, and then it was like,
And
I'm
then
Like,
Over.
oh, that's
we
it.
win.
You know? It's just short of the atom bomb in terms of effective strategy. Yeah.
Speaking of effective strategies, Can you play us another song?
Yeah,
Robinson?
sure, for sure. Let's see here. I'm gonna drop D, so I'm gonna stay in drop D.
I was going to ask that tuning, and there it was.
Yeah, this is one off the record, the forthcoming record. My Lord, he used to beat me, and only once did I fight back. But I found I didn't like it. It hurt worse than the attack. And then I got to thinking maybe something's wrong. It often seems to me that I just don't belong. And there are days I dream of violence, and it feels pretty good. Think about those beatings when I'm out chopping wood. But if I leave another with some blood upon their brow, the pain gets inside me like a stain I can't get out. Ah, but it's okay, you can have your way. I've said my say, I let you in today. And I've heard the laughter of the lions from the burrow of the mole. And I've escaped all the attention of those who try and save my soul. But when I've voyaged so much sorrow that I feel I can't go on, sit right down and pour it into another song. Oh, but it's okay, you can have your way. I've said my say, I'll let you in today. And then I get to thinking maybe something's wrong. It often seems to me that I just don't belong.
Robinson Earl, entertaining us tremendously. Robinson, it's you had indicated a little bit earlier in the show that you've been writing a lot of songs in these past couple of years. So is there any kind of discipline to what you do? Is it a certain time of day, or where do the ideas come from? Typical question, chords or lyrics first, or tell us about all that.
Yeah, well, after I had kids, I have a very small house, so it became imperative I create a space where I could make music, specifically late at night after they've gone to bed. So I got a shed out back, decorated it to my liking.
Man shed.
He's literally woodshedding, Kurt.
Literally, yeah. And I sit there on the floor and I pick my guitar, and I decided, one of the things I decided during lockdown was that I would go and revisit all the little melodies, excuse me, and musical threads that have occurred to me over the years, and really give them the proper attention. Mm-hmm. All those half-written songs, all those songs that I wish had come out better. And I just, and I tried to treat every one of those little ideas like a gift, and just try to
It's a good plan.
give it the attention it deserves,
So
not
you
take it
had
for
these
granted.
things written down, or you had them partially recorded, or they were just floating in your mind, or where were they?
Yeah, partially recorded, written down, all sorts of different places.
Yeah.
And sometimes not even that. Sometimes it's just something that one day I'll be sitting there and I remember something
Yeah.
that came to me years prior and I never really followed through with. And then now my practice is I basically come up with a new song, play it over and over and over and over again until I feel like I can do a solid take. And then I do a take, record it, and I post it to Instagram. Is like my live sketchbook, I just post every new song there, and that's convenient for me if I'm trying to refer to them later or whatever. And
So over and over and over. How do you know when it's ready? What do you look for?
I look for a certain kind of symmetry, and I think I got a lot better too in terms of composition. Trying to come up with a good harmonic vocabulary, whenever I'm coming up, when I have a melodic idea, what chords can I use? When should I use them? What would be interesting musically? that would maybe help with this lyric, stuff like that. And I spent a long time just writing instrumentals too, which helped me a lot. Just took the lyrics out of it. Just wrote
So you're
instrumentals.
keeping a number of different songs juggling at the same time, it sounds like.
I usually like to have like two.
Yeah.
Because if I'm just working on one, it can get a little frustrating. I'm sure you can relate. It's just like, especially if it's not coming together the way you want. It's nice to have something else you can work on for a while.
Interesting.
Put one down.
It's
work on
interesting
another.
that you discuss the symmetry of the music, because I and a lot of other writers think about the symmetry of lyrics.
Yeah.
I find myself often writing in a circle. You start in one place and you come back to that place, but you've taken a slight detour and it's slightly better.
Yeah.
Do you also approach your lyrics with that approach of symmetry in the song?
Yeah, definitely. If I'm using a certain kind of symbolism, like at the front, it's
Right.
It's important that I return to that.
Yes.
There has to be a reason. I think usually one of the signs of something that needs to be better written, or could use some work, is that like there's these details that don't really tie into the rest. They're just sort of like non sequiturs.
That's so interesting. I was critiquing another writer just this week
Yeah.
who had a metaphor, and it was just hanging out. Just there was this great narrative, and then this metaphor just hanging there
Yeah.
uncomfortably.
Yeah.
And the writer really needed to just get rid of the metaphor and write directly, and it nailed what they were writing.
Yeah.
It was such
Yeah.
a great metaphor.
I can
would
use that
it somewhere else.
Use that
Yeah,
next time. That's
exactly.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just gotta, you gotta keep a log of ideas, and if you're ever struggling for something, you can return to that log, and maybe that'll inspire you. But sometimes you get things and you don't know where to put them yet.
Yeah. It'll
True
come.
that.
Yeah.
Well, Robinson, we have time before the top of the hour for one more song, and then we got another 30 minutes with you playing live, and then I think you're going to share some of your favorite music with us later on. So, if you'd be so kind.
Yeah, for sure. I'll top the hour off on a cheery note. This is sort of an original, sort of a traditional, more of a traditional. This is a song. I do a lot of summer camps for kids, and try to focus on folk songs and animals and just getting them out in nature and stuff like that. And so I've learned a lot of animal folk songs, and Peggy Seeger has a great anthology of animal folk songs. And this is one that I think came from Texas originally, and it's called All the Beasties. So there we go. Of all the beasties in the world, I wish I was a panther, so I could roam those lonesome hills along the Susquehanna. Of all the beasties in the world, I wish I was a heron, dip my beak into the creek and travel with the seasons. Of all the beasties in the world, I wish I was a tortoise, so I could carry my home with me while I travel through the forest. Of all the beasties in the world, I wish I was a badger, dig my claws into the earth and serve no other master. Of all the beasties in the world, I wish I was a grizzly, sleep away the winter days, a feast of fish within me. Of all the beasties in the world, I'm glad I am an otter. I hold the paw of my true love as we float upon the water. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
When I saw that you were on the calendar, this question went through my head because I don't know the answer. This is such a stupid question. I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. I saw the River Otters, and it occurred to me, are there other kind? I didn't.
Of
You know,
all
like,
the-
are there
Yes,
ocean
there are.
otters?
There are sea otters.
Sea otters.
Okay.
And they are not particularly kind to seals and other
They have
marine
big,
life.
mean
Really?
teeth. Yes.
Yeah. But river otters are very
They're
friendly.
so
They
cuddly.
just, I don't know about cuddly,
more
but
agreeable.
their entire life is just playing. A couple of decades ago, someone asked me, if you were to die and come back as an animal, what animal would you come back with? And I didn't miss a beat. I said, river otter,
Nice.
because everyone I've ever
Imagine
seen
my surprise.
is just having a ball. Everything that it does is just, I'm playing, wee!
And that's what they use their high intelligence for, to have
Not
more fun.
surprised he didn't say beaver because we got a little problem with the dams and all that.
I got a little something to say about beavers and living.
Well, everybody, we also have a little something to say about the turn of the hour. This is WHUP LP Hillsboro, and we are delighted to share with you that we have an hour two sponsor, Bob.
Yes. Support for this second hour of Past the Hat is sweetly provided by Matthew's Chocolates, 104 North Churton Street, Hillsboro, North Carolina, the finest in chocolate and chocolate accessories for all of your chocolate needs. And let's face it, we all have chocolate needs. Robinson was just modeling the special gift Matthew gives to all of our guests here on Past the Hat. It's not always this awesome whoopaphone bar, Kim calls it, but always some form of chocolate. This one is a nice humongous 1 pound chocolate bar with its different ingredients every week. We don't know what's in this one, but Robinson actually knows Matthew and I think already knows what's in it. So
Good
the
stuff.
surprise is spoiled, but
Dark
it's
chocolate,
still fantastic
roasted
chocolate.
almonds, caramel, and espresso.
I think you might like it.
Yeah, this is a morning chocolate.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a
You
good
start your
one
day
for
off
that.
chocolate.
Everybody, if you were just dragging your feet thinking about chocolate for Easter, Bob, is it too late? Easter's like a week and a day away.
There is no Easter chocolate at Matthew's because he got a shingles vaccine a couple of days ago and
Oh.
can't lift his arm. But he is going to be going crazy starting Sunday through midweek, making all of the Easter chocolate. So get over there and talk to him, place your orders now, and you will
Yep.
have Easter chocolate.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was just over there the other day. I had some of those. He's got these potato chip clusters.
Aren't
covered
those
in-
the
haystacks.
best?
Oh,
So
They're
good.
good. I love those. I like that sweet and salty combination.
Yep.
And with
They're
the
one of my
crunch in there.
favorites.
Yeah, it's real good. I think that went down just before I buckled my seatbelt. You know, got my bag of chocolate in the car.
Robinson, can you school us some more on guitar? For those watching, you might want to slow down this video, pay attention to what Robinson is doing, and can you play us another song?
Yeah, sure. Here, I'll do a song in a style that has greatly informed my approach to the instrument. If y'all are familiar with Etta Baker,
Yes.
great finger picker.
Love
from
her.
the Piedmont region. So I learned to finger pick initially from John Cephas from a duo called Cephas and Wiggins out of Richmond. When I was about 15, I went to a blues camp and I learned how to do the Piedmont picking style.
Cool.
I've kind of been doing it ever since.
That's
but-
hard.
Yeah, it is hard. So, this tune here, I'll just play you the pattern here. It's like, so the melody is,
I could hear so many songs in that already.
Yeah.
so that's the melody, but then you get the bass in there. really about this thumb.
It kind of is.
If you can get that thumb going, then there's your bass player.
Yep.
And sometimes I tell my students, just start with that and then start putting stuff in. It can be slow, you know, and you can do kind of any song in this style. One that I like to do is... you recognize it yet? If I did it. Take me out
To the ball game.
Right, so
If he'd done that yesterday, we would have got it.
Totally would have got it on opening day.
yeah, so it's a fun style. You know, I think of it as kind of like slowed down ragtime. You know,
Right.
like there were some folks who were listening to this fun, frolicking kind of music, and they were able to recreate it to the best of their abilities on, you know,
Whatever
a
they
single
had.
instrument
Yeah.
in the country. Slow it down a little bit, make it good for dancing. So, you know,
Yeah, it
there's
worked.
a lot of great pickers in that tradition.
Well, speaking of dancing and guitars, there's a big shiny Tricone National over there. Do you plan to play that this evening?
Yeah, let me play that a little bit.
Not that I'm telling you have to play it now, because it's your show. You can do whatever the heck you want to.
Oh, I brought it to play it. I was like, should I bring the National? Yeah, I was got to bring the National.
I think so, yeah.
I think I just shined it up, too.
I have respect for anyone who plays a resonating guitar because you hear everything. Like if you're not
Everything,
precise, if you
yes.
don't know
Yeah.
what you're doing, like I should stay at least 6 feet away from those instruments at all times. Most people probably should.
Oh, no,
but
I like hearing the grit of the slide
Yes.
moving up, or the squeaky fingers on the strings. I think
Yep.
it's just fantastic.
No, I
It's part
love
of the
that.
vibe.
Y'all want to hear something really cool about this style of playing?
Yes.
I read a great book about Hawaiian steel guitar.
Uh-huh.
And
Ooh.
apparently, I mean, this would make the best movie, right? There was this guy, this was like late 1800s. His name was Joseph Keuku, and he was in one of the Kamehameha schools. And he was a guitar player, a Hawaiian guy, and he was walking down the railroad tracks one day, and he found a railroad spike, and he took it back to his dormitory, right? And he accidentally dropped it across the guitar strings, you know, and they heard this kind of like sort of sound, and he's like, ooh, that's cool.
I want to do some more of that.
So he learned how to play it, and he taught a bunch of his friends and a bunch of other people on the island and the other islands how to play. And then we annexed Hawaii, and Louis Lukiani was deposed, and there was this whole sort of Hawaiian diaspora, and these Hawaiian musicians took this style, and they're the ones who spread it throughout the Deep South and taught the blues musicians how to play slide style.
I did not know that.
And when you go and ask, like Son House and a bunch of the other folks who, you know, were the earliest still living, you know, purveyors of this style when people got interested again in it in like the 50s and 60s, they'd say they played Hawaiian style.
Huh.
And that was the way they did it.
They're
And-
just playing a little
Wow.
railroad spike guitar.
yeah. And, you know, by 1916, though, like Hawaiian music was the most popular selling genre in the country. So, like, you know, Hawaiian was big for sure. Yeah. So, oh, I'm in a weird tune right now. Hold on a second. I know where I was.
So, Kim, I see that glint in your eye. Is how soon you going to go out and get a resonator guitar?
Absolutely not. Nope, nope, nope,
By the end of spring break, she's going to have a national.
nope.
This is a song I wrote about the moon.
I like the moon. The moon's all right.
Moon's good. Moon's good.
How old is that guitar?
It's 2005.
Oh, okay.
They still make them out in California. Now with it, they have CNC. It's a lot easier, actually.
Mm-hmm.
This is a tricone, which was the original design. You know, when they were when the Dopier brothers were trying to come up with this, you know, idea, they thought 3 speakers sounds good. It's nice and smooth. The single speaker ones were more like the budget version. But
Yeah,
a lot of blues
it's kinda
players
brash,
like that. Yeah. But let's see here. Only a fool ignores the moon through the soledad of a lesser God, and all she wants is to dance with you, but still you hide, asleep inside. You're not the kind to wander through the dark without a guide, but there she is, so full and bright, and you can share all that you have hid within her light, 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 and only the strong can bear her song. Its words are few, but its notes are long, and it rings out clear like a crystal spear, shot through the heart of Apollo's deer. And aren't you ashamed the way you make her wait? You let her burn where you hesitate, and there she is, so full and bright, and you can share all that you have hid within her light, within her light, within her light, within her light, within her light.
Nice. Robinson Lee Earl live here in the studio. Robinson, you talked about woodshedding, or you built a shed at your house specifically for you to go and practice and have a space that was safe for the family and for you. But you haven't really talked about what it is that inspires you. What do you write songs about? How do the ideas come to you?
Nature. I'd say it's one of my biggest inspirations.
Yeah.
I know that's pretty broad, pretty general, but I, as you know, Bob, am a big hiker,
Yep.
an avid explorer of all sylvan territories I encounter. So I go out a lot, and I think about the land and what came before there and what it all means to me and the community I find myself in. And let's see, that last song, was about that sort of burst of energy I tend to get at night from the moon. I'm very sensitive, when it comes to that kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
And there's something about nighttime that always makes me feel a little bit more alive, but you kind of have to make the plunge, It's wonderful to take a walk under the stars, but, to get yourself, there's something like very, sort of reflexive and animal about
It's
not
scary
wanting
out
to
there.
go out into the dark,
All the predators can see better than you.
That's true.
Of course,
That's true.
You're the apex predator, so
Yeah, most of the time. I mean, I principally go out to hunt, so
yeah, right. Hunting songs.
yeah, hunting songs. Yeah, I spend a lot of time actually. If I'm ever stuck on a song, I go on a walk, and I usually use the voice memo thing on my phone, just come up with ideas, just speak them, and I read a lot too. Big reader, so no shortage of ideas for songs. Yeah.
It sounds like you're doing I do all of those things, and I'm thinking I could continue growing this way, because that really is how that's the best way for us to get information, is when we read it and then when we put it all together and use our bodies to synthesize everything.
Yeah.
You're doing it totally right.
Thank you. Yeah. It's the way.
Yeah.
It is the way. Yeah.
Well, I would love to hear more music. I'm entranced by your guitar playing, and I almost forget to turn things off and on up here, because it just kind of plunges me into this neat hypnotic state. I dig it.
I think one of the first times I saw Robinson play down at the Crack, and he was playing this national barefoot and sitting cross-legged down on the floor playing, and I just looked at him. I said, "Dude, you are my spirit animal."
I remember that. That was a good night.
It was a good night.
Yeah, I love the Kraken. Yeah, I stopped sitting down like that when I perform that. It's too hard to see me, I've been told. I still prefer that. That's how I practice, and but when I perform.
I envisioned when you were talking about the shed, that's exactly what you were doing in the
Yeah.
shed.
Yeah, if I can, I sit on the floor.
Yeah.
It's better.
I apologize for we made you sit in a chair tonight.
It's all right. It's all right. I like to be at eye level with people too, though. So it's always a compromise. And the problem with the National, of course, is you forget to turn your amp on. So this is the title track of the record that we've got coming out. It's called Ad Shushir. So it's named after the lost community, the lost village that John Lawson encountered in this region in 1701 when he first came here, Ad Shushir.
Everybody, we are here with Robinson Earl of the River Otters. Robinson, this tuning, what is this tuning you're in now?
It's open C tuning.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I knew
yeah.
it sounded a little different from the drop D, and of course that guitar makes it sound different also, but it's, I mean, interesting sounds you're making. Part of it is like Indian sounding, like from India kind of music, and then a mixture of straight blues and a variety of things. So you sort of put together a jigsaw puzzle there.
Yeah. Well, this kind of instrument has a tradition in a lot of different cultures. This sort of slide, get in between the notes style instrument. A bunch of zithers and obviously sitars and saruds can do similar things. But I'm just into like a lot of different scales. If you get like a scale like in the West we call it double harmonic major, like. To our ears, we're like, oh, that's exotic,
Yeah,
because it's got these big steps, But then you've got some of these tones, like that flat five kind of thing. When I went, that's a Reuben. That's an old fiddle tune, and one that
a Reuben is not just a sandwich.
No, it's
I'm
a
hungry
delicious
now,
sandwich, but.
And you're using a glass slide,
Yep.
and so tell the people who don't know the difference between a glass slide and, say, a metal slide.
Yeah, I mean, just get a different kind of tone. A lot of the old blues musicians would actually use bottlenecks that they would break off bottles and score them and then break them off, and then
Hopefully
over a
sand them
fire.
down a little bit,
A little
otherwise.
bit.
Yeah,
Just a
you
little bit.
Safety issue.
hold them over a
Think
fire,
hardcore.
get them soft to sand.
But yeah, I've always found the glass to seem a little bit more vocal, and the
It's a
big,
little
heavy
smoother.
brass and steel ones, at least on the attack, right when it hits the string, it just sounds harsher and
Yeah.
not necessarily worse or better, but different.
Yeah, I like the smooth sound. I actually even prefer this guitar plugged in because it's a little smoother.
Right.
And this slide comes from, they're called Diamond Bottlenecks, and there's a company in the UK that makes them, and it's like an old glass blowing district.
Oh, nice.
So they can make any kind of glass product, and they found out that slides were a coveted, accessory for certain guitarists.
Absolutely.
I've always wondered about slides. I've kind of wanted to pick one up and try it, but I've always wondered if it damages the guitar. And if you're skilled at it, how do you keep it from damaging the guitar?
I would say the best thing to do if you're interested in slide is buy an old beater guitar that needs a neck reset with the strings way high off up the neck,
Yeah.
so that it makes normal playing impossible. And that will be perfect for slide.
That's a bummer. I used to have
Yeah.
one of those and I sold it
Put
to
some
some
heavy
sucker.
strings on it, because these are heavy strings, You can kind of have to commit to it. If you're thinking, I'll retune it and play some slide and go back to standard, it's probably not going to be too much fun. You gotta treat it a little bit more like a monophonic instrument. I've got these other strings for drone and stuff, but I'm really thinking about it when I compose with a slide. Sometimes I'll write, some songs and I'll make some chords and stuff. You can make some chords, but a lot of times I think of it more of just like note by note, just like
it's
this
more
is
melody.
my voice right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
After spring break, Kim's going to be coming back and going to be all Bonnie Raitt here and here.
I love your high expectations of me that are not going to come true.
Kim, I think there's a guitar hanging on the wall back there that's had enough humidity that it'll be perfect
It
for
qualifies as a beater.
Robinson's sake, so help yourself.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've got time for one more song.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, Bonnie Raitt, you bring her up. She finally got her flowers, huh?
Finally. Took long enough.
After being one of the coolest musicians on the scene for a long time. I'm sure y'all have heard that song before. But
We
it's a little
love the
prettier in
tuning
open C.
song.
My dog has fleas.
There we go. My love, he is standing alone in a field of corn. The blackbirds, they do taunt him. He knows nothing but scorn. I clutch him like a pillow. I press him to my breast. The morning will come after all this moonlight has been spent. A piper in the garden, crouched on cloven hoof. A dragon spitting water, perched upon the roof. And inside you'll find her lurking, the pulse within the stone. They carve into her body to make their throne of bone. And like those cities of gold buried beneath the sea, the tides will come for them eventually. And those who dream will finally be free and watch the sun eclipse the mother and shed this mortal toil. But for the seed to even prosper, it was planted in her soil. And so I make my men of dry rod, and I bind them with my hair, and I bid them watch my orchards as I take to the air. And in a grove of oak I will wrestle with the bear, and I'll ask the stag for the meat that he can spare, and I'll beg the crow to rid me of my fear.
Robinson Lee Earl, y'all. At this time, we are going to say farewell on the live stream. So, wave farewell to everyone.
Let's remind folks, River Otters, the River Otters on, why can't I think anymore? On Spotify and on social medias, arcaneamericana.com for the website, and get out to Dirty Bull Brewing tomorrow afternoon to hear you at what time?
4 o'clock.
4 to 6. That's going to be a fantastic show. Yeah. It's going to be perfect weather. It's going to rain a little in the morning. The afternoon is going to be beautiful and sunny, and it's going to be the perfect time for you to go out, enjoy beer, and some wonderful River Otters music, y'all.
Yep.
Thanks for having me. It's been really wonderful.
Thank you. But don't go away, Robinson, because you are going to be our guest DJ for the next 30 minutes. You sent us a playlist, and I'm wondering, do we go in order, or you want to pick a song?
Let's pick a song.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is actually